the Cook High Hornets Sports Podcast. Hey everybody, Richard here, Cook High Hornet alumni, with episode 1 of the Hornet Talk. My plans for this podcast is just to go over the Cook High School Hornets sports news that I can find on the internet anyway. But with episode 1, I want to go over the playoffs of first week. The Hornets were taking on the Griffens of the Academy for Classical Education from up near Macon, or actually in Macon. Going to be using Max Prep to go over the stats, and so if there's a mistake there, then of course I will make a mistake here. But let's get to the game here. They were, according to Max Preps, hundreds in attendance. And the field was, of course, wet from the recent rainfall that we had on Thursday and Friday morning till around lunch or noon time. And it was quite muggy on the field, as we know how it can be here in South Georgia. But it would not deter fans nor the teams from giving us a good game. Ace did win the toss, and they deferred to the second half, which gave the Cook High Hornets the ball in the first quarter. So it's Ace kicked off to the Hornets here, and they got the ball back. The Cook High Hornets, Drew Folsom there, passed the ball to number 24, Nishan Wallace, and I apologize if I get these names wrong. I am, of course, listening to a screen reader pronounce them, and I've gotten into the habit of pronouncing it however the screen reader says it. So please forgive me, and if you can, send me a correction. They then handed the ball off to number 25, Keyshawn McKeever, who got his first rushing touchdown of the evening. Number 38, Christian Briones, made the point after, which the score was then 7-0 with the Hornets leading. The Ace Griffens then fumbled the ball, recovered it, and number 8, Jajarius Smith, received a pass from Drew Folsom for a passing touchdown for Drew and a receiving touchdown for Jadarius Smith. The point after the touchdown was good, and that made the score 14-0, Hornets in the lead. The Ace Griffins then scored a rushing touchdown, which, after their point after, made it a score of 14-7, with the Hornets still in the lead. Keyshawn McKeever, and I have a feeling I'm saying his name wrong, and I do apologize, had a big kickoff return, and then he was handed the ball off, scoring his second rushing touchdown of the evening, and the point after being good made the score 21-7. And with under a minute to go, they handed the ball off again to Keyshawn McKeever, and with the point after, made it 28-7, the Hornets. Number 3, Tyshawn McMillan then recovered a fumble from Ace, and then a pass to Nishan Wallace, and the point after made the score 35-7. Now, I will say here, there was a bit of confusion on the Max Preps website as I was getting these highlights and reading them now. So the score may be off because there were some corrections, but it was a little difficult there to read and to understand. So I apologize if the score is wrong. And like I said, I did listen to the game, so I do have a gist of what did happen. As we get into the second quarter here, Ace scored a rushing touchdown and had a successful point after attempt. And the score was then 35-14, I believe, or no, excuse me, the score was then 28-14. If I do remember correctly. Because again, like I said, there was some confusion with the Max Prep's official score, I think is their title on the website. However, Ace did make an onside kick attempt and did recover the ball. And if I remember correctly, it was kind of like not quite a pooch kick, but a short onside kick. And there was some discussion in the radio booth about it not having gone 9 yards when some contact was made. Either way, the officials did give the ball to Ace, who promptly threw a passing touchdown, and the successful point after made the score 28-21. With 6 minutes left to go in the second quarter, number 25, Keyshawn McKeever, scored what I believe is his fourth rushing touchdown of the evening. This young man scored so many, it was kind of hard to keep up with, especially on this Max Preps. But he did score this touchdown here, and with the successful point after attempt, the score was either now 35-21 or is 42-21. Again, my apologies for the confusion here. I will try to do better next week, as I will be taking notes, or perhaps can get notes from someone else who was at the game. But either way, I'll try to keep this a little bit more streamlined so that there is no confusion here. Again, my apologies for this. After the kickoff, with Ace receiving the ball, number 18, Mustafa Tiffins, intercepted the ball from Ace on their 45-yard line. And then number 19, Drew Folsom, got in on the action and rushed in for a touchdown of his own with about 2 minutes left to go in the second quarter. And again, the point after attempt was good, and the score was now 49-21 with the Hornets in the lead. Number 16, Brant Dobson, intercepted the ace pass, and number 25, Keyshawn McKeever, rushed in for his, I believe, 5th touchdown of the evening. And as I'm reading over my notes here, I do have a question mark there because I honestly have lost count. Anyway, the point after is, of course, good, and the score is now 56-21 with the Hornets in the lead. And for fans of football out there, you will know that once the third quarter starts, the mercy rule will be in effect, since the Cook High Hornets have more than a 30-point lead at the beginning of a quarter. This is really important as it will cause the clock to never stop and is a major disadvantage to the team that is trailing in the game. With less than a minute to go in the half, the Ace Griffens passed for a touchdown, and the point after was good, and the score was now 28-56 with the Hornets in the lead still. While they were still in the lead by a good margin, the more important factor here was that the mercy rule was no longer in effect, because they were only up by 28 points with less than a minute to go. Then, as the Hornets got the ball back, number 25, Keyshawn McKeever, rushed for yet another touchdown. And number 38, Christian Briones, point after was good, and the score was now 63-28 Hornets. Again, the more important factor at this point in time is the 30-plus point difference, which would cause the running clock, the mercy rule and running clock to take effect. And as we entered into halftime and then come back out, Cook Hornets kick the ball off to Ace, who had deferred until the second half. And as I just said, the running clock was now in effect, so the clock will never stop. So Ace has a very tough mountain to climb to overcome both the score differential as well as the running clock. Ace came out with a pass and scored a touchdown with a successful point after, making the score 35-63 with the Hornets still in the lead. And in fact, this score would be the Griffens' last score of the night. And while it was their last score of the night, it was not the Hornets' last score of the night, as number 25, Keyshawn McKeever, came in and scored yet another rushing touchdown with the successful point after, making the score 70-35 with the Hornets in the lead. And there are now 2 minutes left to go in the third quarter when Cook recovers an Ace fumble on Ace's 44-yard line. And with less than a minute to go, number 25 once again rushes for what I believe is his 7th touchdown of the evening. It may have been his 8th. Again, like I said, I lost count of how many he actually scored. I know it was a bunch, and with the successful point after, the score was now 77-35. The Cook High Hornets would go on to victory. And with 1 minute left to go in the fourth quarter, the Ace Griffins fumbled the ball and Cook recovered it as well. And again, your final for this playoff game was the Cook High Hornets 77 and the Ace Griffins 35. Hey, I'd like to take this time to invite you to Sparks First Baptist in Sparks, Georgia, where services start on Sunday at 10:30 a.m., on Sunday night at 6 p.m., and on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. If you're in the area, we'd love to have you stop by and worship with us. Now, let's take a look at next week's opponent, the Thompson Bulldogs. The Cook High Hornets will be traveling the 3 hours and roughly 35 minutes travel distance from Adel to Thompson this upcoming Friday for their second round playoff game against the Thompson Bulldogs at 7:30 p.m. overall, the Hornets are 8-3, and the Thompson Bulldogs are 10-1. While Thompson has lost 2 fewer games than the Hornets, I do believe that the Hornets were in the majority of their games, and if circumstances had fell one way or the other, I do believe the Cook High Hornets record would be a little bit different there. However, the record is Cook with 8 wins and 3 losses, and with the Thompson Bulldogs having 10 wins and 1 loss. Thompson is 7-0 in their region, while Cook is 4-2. At home, the Thompson Bulldogs are 5-1, with the Cook County Hornets having a record of 6-1. Very closely matched there. However, the Hornets will be traveling to Thompson, so maybe we can give them their second loss at home this year. Thompson is 5-0 whenever they have to travel, while the Cook High Hornets are 2-2. And again, I know one of those 2 losses that Cook suffered was to Valdosta, which I know there were some early season mistakes that took place in that game, so it is a little bit misleading there. But again, I do have faith in our Hornets because it is a very close matchup, which we will get to here momentarily. The Hornets have a 73% winning percent, while the Bulldogs have a 91% winning percentage. In the region, in their region, the Cook High Hornets have a 63% winning percentage, while the Bulldogs are, of course, 100%, having not lost a game in their region. Let's go over a little bit of the scoring during the entire game and the breakdown thereof, according to Max Preps here. In the first quarter, Cook scores 8.6 points in the first quarter, while Thompson scores 11.7 points per first quarter. During the second quarter, the Cook High Hornets score an average of 13.4 points, with Thompson scoring an even 18 points. Then, of course, at halftime, no one scores any points except the fans as they head to their local concession stand. In the third quarter, the Hornets score on average 7.8 points, while the Thompson Bulldogs score an average of 7.8 as well. So these two teams should be closely matched up in the third quarter. As the fourth quarter rolls around, the Hornets score on average 4.8 points, while the Thompson Bulldogs score an average of 4.7. Again, the fourth quarter can be quite misleading here, as if teams have a commanding lead, they usually put in the second, third, and if they have enough, fourth and fifth strings, as to not risk anyone getting injured and to let younger players have a chance to play and get some experience. Now we're going to go over the projected final score of the game, and this is as of Monday, the 14th of November. Cook is projected to score 35 points, while Thompson is projected to score 42. That is a one-score game, and I do believe that one turnover here or there could turn the tide of this game in either way. This does not take in, according to what I was looking at, does not take into account how many turnovers a team gets or loses in a game. At least not that I'm aware of. I did not see that. I could be missing it due to my screen reader, but I'm not 100% sure. But still, it's a 3 hour and 40-minute drive to Thompson. If you can and want to brave the cold, but support your Hornets, by all means, make the drive, stay in a motel or hotel, support the Hornets. But if you can't make it, then be sure to listen to the Hornets. And as of right now, I do believe they are projected to play on Talk 92.1. Thank you for listening. Thanks for listening to the Cook High Hornets Sports Podcast. Be sure to like, share, rate, review, and subscribe. If interested in helping, be sure to email me at rbennett2018@windstream.net. That's RBENNETT2018@windstream.net.